is part two of Old School Trucking, part two. This is about the driver. Us, the driver. How did we change? What happened to the night of the road? Yeah, what happened to the night of the road and how we changed over the time. I'm going to cover about close to 50 years of, in that time frame, how we as drivers have changed and what happened to the night of the road. First, let me explain to you my thoughts. Well, first off, anything I'm talking about here is my opinion, my thoughts, and my observations through a time frame. Okay, what was the night of the road? Who was the night of the road? Let me explain to you what my opinion is on what a night of the road was. The night of the road was the guy that come riding up in his suit of shining armor and helped the damsel in distress. That kind of rolls the big picture up. Yeah, it does. But let me tell you, the night of the road was a relief for somebody who used to be stranded out on the road in the middle of the night. That's right. Truck driving. Truck drivers. Used to be, many, many years ago, an extremely hard profession to get into. It was hard to become a truck driver. People were trying to be truck drivers, but they couldn't get into it. Why? Because you had to have experience. You had to have experience in driving a big truck. Not too many companies. There was not very many companies that would hire you unless you had experience. How did you get experience? Well, let me tell you, there was a few truck driver schools back then. They wasn't worth a flip nickel. You get you a chauffeur's license. Well, anybody go down and get a chauffeur's license? That's when we had chauffeur's license back then. Yeah, a lot of drivers, most drivers had 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 driver's licenses from different states. It's the way it was, man. It's the way it was. You get your points, all what you call points today, all built up on one, you flip out the next one. Like you got one from Pennsylvania, you flip out one from Oklahoma when a state trooper stopped you. Oh yeah, it was a lot different back then until the government set in, the regime set in. Yeah. But the night of the road, I'm going to get off subject here every once in a while. I kind of get sentimental. But the night of the road, does he exist anymore? I don't think so. And I'm going to explain to you why I don't think so. And I'm going to have to do this in a generational type thing. Okay, we'll go back to the late 60s, early 70s. During the Vietnam time. During the hippie era. Yeah, free love and all of that stuff. Hard to get into this industry. Very hard. But as the wind down of the Vietnam War, and it really wasn't a war, it was, I don't know, police action, I don't know what it was. It was a bunch of hell's what it was. All these soldiers were coming home, needing jobs. Spent there a couple years in the military. That's when we had to draft. Yeah, you were conscript. You was conscripted in the military then. Yeah, you come home trying to come back to your hometown. But when you came home, it had changed. It wasn't the town that changed. It was the individual that came back to that town that had changed. Things were a lot different for that person, a lot different. They looked at things differently. They grew up real quick when they hit that ground over there in that foreign country. Within 24 hours, their life had changed, and they grew up real quick. The ones that made it home, anyway. Everybody back then was hire the vet, hire the vet. Okay? And a lot of guys tried a couple, 3 jobs, and a lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them, tried to do it, going back home, getting a couple, 3 jobs, and didn't last at it, so they become truck drivers. The old school guys, and I saw a young man's video here the other day, and he called those guys, and I guess me now, an old head, you know. I think that right there, that made me think of disrespect, so disrespected the old driver, the way he was putting it out on his video. They became the trainers of the new generation. The old guys, the old heads was passing the torch to the new guys, the nom guys, the guys of that generation who had different values, was raised with different values, had lived a different life and stuff. Now, not all of the guys that were drivers coming in the industry were non-vets, but they were a different group of people. They were different. We were different. We were different because of our experiences. Before that, they really had the night of the road. So we got a new school of truck driver, a new class of truck driver. Still passing, trying to maintain the night of the road. That's right. The old schools passed that on. Be kind, be courteous, help people out. That was the night of the road. Save that damsel in distress out there. It was hard to get trained by an old guy. Because I tell you what, they were some hard suckers back then, man. Rough people. Rough. A lot of them were rough guys. Yeah, they were. Yeah, so we got the school of the new style of truck driver. The hippie era truck driver. All rolled into one out here, banging gears in these big trucks. Trying to make a living because they didn't want to do something else. Anyway, let's talk about truck stops a little bit. Drivers used to all congregate in the morning, have breakfast in the truck stops. Oh, I had to stop the video right there. I kind of got sentimental a little bit. I'm trying to do this raw, you know, but there's some things here that I give you personal, and I'm gonna do some cuts here and there. That's for sure. I might go off in a little tangent, you know. But anyway, the truck stops. Let's talk about the truck stops. It used to be back in the day. I always say back in the day. It wasn't that long ago. The truck stops. And truck drivers, a lot of them in the morning, lunchtime, in the evening when they shut down, they'd go in the truck stop. That was our social network back then. We all sat around, you know, backing up a little bit here. You guys have seen it, a lot of you have seen it, where they used to have certain sections in the truck stops at the restaurants that on the routes of the truck that had a section dedicated to the professional driver only. That's around the counter, had a few booths around there. That was for, and as a matter of fact, they designed those places seating-wise for that. And it wasn't because the truck driver was a stinker and he stunk and shit. It's because they had the phones there at the booths. They had the phones there at the counter. All around, you sat there sucking on your coffee, talking on the phone to your dispatcher or your loved one. That's when the truck driver, that's the way they communicated home to the girlfriends, the wives, the children, and talked to their dispatchers, got their dispatch, checked in with their dispatcher. That's what they used to do. That's what we used to do out here. And while we're sitting there spilling coffee on each other, slapping them eggs and stuff like that, bacon, hamburger, steaks, whatever we was eating back then. That's good food, man. Some of them places had some great food, I tell you. It might have been greasy and unhealthy for you as hell, but I tell you what, the word was out. The word was out. Where you see a bunch of trucks parked around a cafe, they got good food. And that's where all the public came. That's where all the four-wheelers came, man. They were stopping in there, too. So they sectioned the area off for the truck driver. They had the phone booths and shit. But that was our social network. That's when we sat down there and had social interactive with another human being. Yeah, activity with another human being. Another thing, the waitresses back then were a lot different than the waitresses today. Back then, some of the truck stops, most of the truck stops, the women back then wore dresses to work. Like, you know, Mayberry stuff, Leave It to Beaver stuff, you know. And if a truck driver saw a knee, man, you seen something back then, man. Waitresses wearing them white petticoats and stuff. Yeah, slopping that coffee around. Some of that's still trying to be carried on by some of the young people in these places. Some of it is, and the way they talk, like calling you honey or baby or all that. Nowadays, you say honey to somebody or hey babe, how you doing? They're going to get you for sexual harassment. Come on, people, come on. But anyway, that was our social networking right there. Now, I'm just saying that because I'm going to tell you, there's something else that's changed, made things change. Truck drivers used to be pretty much a clean bunch of guys. Clean bunch of guys, pretty much. Not all of them, but they didn't stink, man. You know, you took showers just like today, but they tried to stay clean, shaved and stuff like that. If they had a big Santa Claus beards and stuff. Kept clean clothes on. The truck drivers, that seemed like every truck driver used to have a cowboy hat and a big old pair of boots on, cowboy boots. What the hell you need a pair of cowboy boots for driving a truck, man? And then them people come in with them belt buckles about that big, man. It's so damn big you couldn't sit down, man. They'd cut your belly, man, and cut your legs when you had to move it out of the way so you could sit down. Yeah, that was the thing. Wearing them jackets from your trucking company. I got 1,000,000 miles. I work for XYZ company. Yeah, proud. Showed pride in them companies, man. I only know a couple of companies today that give out them jackets and the little watches and stuff. Yeah, only a couple of them I know of them. Prime, the one I pull for, is one of them. Yeah, still old school a little bit. Yeah. But anyway, that's the way it used to be. Yeah. But that was the social networking for truck drivers. Truck drivers knew each other if you were running the same routes all the time. Some of them cafes used in restaurants, well, the cafes in particular, the mom and pop ones, if you frequented it enough, you'd drop a cup off. That was your cup, and they'd hold your cup until you come back through there, and that's where you'd be drinking your coffee from your cup, because that waitress knew you. Or waitresses, okay? And they always worked the same section. So you got to know each other by name. And even more than that, late at night you go inside, and because you're lonesome or whatever, it's cold out, you know, snowing, be shut down, and you get to be personal with the waitress, meaning talk about her family, her children, and truck drivers would talk about their homes, missing home. Somebody or whatever talking about the dog having 15 puppies and stuff like that and couldn't wait home to get to see them, and kids and grandkids. And talking about them trucks, big trucks, the big chrome, long noses. That stuff is gone. Now, what caused that to go away? Well, number one was the advent of the cell phone. The cell phone. Okay, that put truckers more in touch with everything. It's a good thing. Cell phone's a good thing. Yeah, and that has become the social networking for truck drivers. That's right. That's right. And I think because of that cell phone and a couple other things, that caused the night of the road to go away. There's a couple more points I'll try to make in regards to that. Also caused let's just say, that's when the stinking truck drivers started showing up. That generation. Yeah, but that was about 10 years after the 60s and the 70s, late 60s, early 70s. Started in the 80s, the stinking truck driver. Yeah. Still had the night of the road, though. Still had a few of them out there. The knight in shining armor. The cell phone. They started taking the phones out of the booths. The waitress started changing. The truck driver's appearance started changing. And all of a sudden you see a bunch of new truck drivers coming in. New truck drivers coming in the 90s. The dress, the appearance had changed of the truck driver. Started changing. Become stinking truck drivers. Yeah. And I think that's all because of the cell phone. Or partly because of the cell phone. Truckers were staying in their trucks more, not getting out. Not getting out. Having social interactive with another human being. Everything's on the cell phone. And then come the microwaves. Yeah. Now you don't have to, and the refrigerators in the trucks. It's good, a good thing, good thing, good thing. But now you're not frequenting the buffet counter or whatever, going inside the restaurant and having social interactive with another human being. You're sitting in your trucks, not talking to one another. There's still a few places that happens. And at the same time, that's starting to occur. The restaurants and the cafes aren't getting the business they used to get. So they've got to change to make that dollar. So they start catering to the four-wheeler more. That's right. That's right. So the truck drop now has changed to a travel plaza. Yeah, the food turned to crap too about that time. Over a period of time. Not as greasy as it used to be. The unhealthy shit, which was really good, man. Yeah. Yeah. Truck drivers weren't talking to each other anymore. Then we had the CB radio. And that really, when it died, the truck had died, man. No, I'm joking. The CB radio, the cell phone took its place too. Now comes along the internet, where you can get it Wi-Fi. Some guys had the big computers in their trucks and stuff. Keeping you in the truck more is what all this technology's doing. Keeping you in the truck more. And then comes along the federal government, the regime, and public citizen. Well, we got to get a handle on them truck drivers out there. They're a bunch of wild idiots, man. They're a bunch of cowboys and all this stuff, bunch of murderers and stuff. They didn't realize we just common folk like them trying to make a living out here, but we had some fun at it, though, you know. Not anymore. Not anymore. So they said, well, we're going to stop that, having all them driver's licenses. We're going to choke them down. So then they come out with a CDL. Yeah. I think that happened back in 78, 79, something like that. Yeah. So now you can only have one driver's license, and everybody worried about their points. Yeah, they're going to lose. That was the big change, man. I can't do what I want to do anymore. That's right. That's when it was a cat and mouse game between you and the sheriff, the highway patrol, and the DOT. Yeah, at the scale house. It used to be cat and mouse. You got caught, you paid the price, and you knew it, and they was after you. But also, the state trooper and the trucker worked together. They did. They helped each other out back then. Now, if you were wrong, and he'd burn you, okay? And you knew it. You deserved it. You could try to talk your way out of a 100-mile-an-hour ticket, a reckless driving ticket. Wasn't going to help you none. Yeah, but they helped each other out. But if you were wrong, you were wrong. And you knew what you were wrong, too. So now you got truck drivers not socially interactive anymore. You got truck drivers that are staying in their trucks and stinking. You got truck drivers that ain't even going to the bathrooms anymore, except in their trucks. Yeah. And the food went to shit in the truck stops. Truck stops started getting all the four-wheelers in there. Travel plazas. The dress of the truck driver started changing too. Start seeing a bunch of people's underwear. My God, what kind of look is that? I don't know how them fellas kept their britches up. Used to, you see truck driver had suspenders on because they had a belly so big, you know. had to wear suspenders. He couldn't keep his pants up, but he tried to keep them up with suspenders. Nowadays, I don't know. I don't know. But that's the changes there. And I think the night of the road is gone because of the following. The upbringing of today's driver. Yeah, the upbringing at home. Let's call it homeschool. The morals, the values that your parents teach you. That's changed. So therefore, along with all the unsocial interaction between human beings, the night of the road is gone. It's all me, 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 me. Yeah, that's what it seems like out here nowadays. Used to be, not many years ago, truck drivers had respect for truck drivers, courtesy for other truck drivers. Yeah, like when you're, a perfect example is when you're merging into traffic. Truck drivers used to slow down or move over, or try to. Not today, not today. And you can see that today. You sure can. You can see it, you witness it, you will drive it. What happened? The night of the road's not there, that's for damn sure. Trying to run over another truck driver. Well, I got this lane and I ain't coming out of it. I'm not gonna slow down, it's your fault. The same at loading docks, shippers and receivers. You get a guy trying to back in and somebody else has got his bright lights on in the middle of the night and the guy can't see shit getting in a hole anyway. Or run behind somebody that is backing up with his four-ways on at a shipper or receiver. Me, me, me. The night of the road's gone. That's right. It's upbringing. Used to. You didn't have an unseasoned driver training a new driver. Yeah. Yeah. That could be some of the downfall of our industry too. A trainee training a trainee. But I'm not saying that some of these young guys, I mean, I've witnessed it. Some of them at 6 months can drive better than some of the guys that have been out here 10, 20, 30 years. Yeah. Yeah, they may not know much about that truck or the highway, but they can dang sure herd one of them down the road. Yeah, and drag that wagon good too. Yeah, some of them, and a lot of them are women. Used to, we didn't have very many females in this industry. And if we did have a female out here on the road, she had it rough, real rough, yeah. And today they would call a lot of that roughness sexual harassment in the first degree. That's right, I feel for them women back then, man. And myself, I might be guilty of it too. Yeah, I probably am. With cat call, stuff like that, man. Yeah. And I wish I could apologize to a couple of them girls back then, some of the things I said. I should have never said that. But then you learn that over time, man. Time's a teacher, a good teacher. Yeah. And nowadays it's me, me, me. Where did all the fancy trucks go? Where did they go? With a chrome on them. Chrome don't get you home. Don't make you no more money. But that's another video. Yes, it does, too. Yeah, yes it does. Don't be listening to that shit. So anyway, I'm trying to make this short tonight. The driver has changed. Some of it to the good, and some of it to the bad. That's right. We are not the same profession anymore. Just like our trucks aren't. We have changed. Now I've rolled with the punches. I've adapted. Some drivers won't adapt and they've left. They can't adapt. And they've tried to come back into the industry, but they can't get in because they know better. They know better. Or they got their chip on their shoulder so high and that they won't get back in. Nobody will hire them. And that kind of goes with that guy's videos talking about there, the old head, disrespectful to the old driver. Yeah. And I want to say this. I shouldn't, but I'm going to. To that individual, and his part of his screen name is Texas something trucker. I'm not going to put the whole thing out. And if you see this young man, I might send you a link. I want to say one thing to you. You will never, ever be accepted in the group, the old head group of the Vietnam vet that's out here driving. That's a fact. He is a special breed of driver, a special breed of person. They have a brotherhood that you may not understand. And you never will understand it because you didn't live it. So they will talk to you if you ask them specific questions. They have nothing against you, young man. Nothing. That group doesn't. No. It's just that when they're together, sitting in a cafe or something, they will be together. And you're an outsider to them when they start talking things. Yeah. It's not that they're shunning you or anything like that. It's just that they're a tighter group of people. Too bad you can't get in that group again. But it's a good thing you didn't live through that shit that they're in. And if you don't understand what I'm saying, I invite you to go to what they call the Rolling Thunder Run, young man. Washington, D.C., it's held once a year. And walk down to in the mall, down to the memorial. Sit there and watch, and you will understand that brotherhood, I guarantee you. And if you don't, there's something wrong with your head. Yeah. So anyway, that's to that young gentleman right there. Sorry about getting off subject here. So that's some of my perspective, some of my observations of the old school truck driver. We've changed, but everything changes. Our trucks have changed, our way of life has changed, and social media has definitely changed our industry. Yes, it has. These guys that are out there, that are flashing all this cash, that have been in the industry, say 3, 4, 5 years, they're in the industry and they got it going on, and they're making some big bucks. They're banking some bands, I'm telling you, like you young guys will say. But that's a bad thing, because you guys that are doing that are not explaining the whole thing. And these young guys that are trying to get into the industry, that are out there working at McDonald's or something, they see all that, and the first few months they're in this industry, they say, how come these guys got all that money and I can't get none? Young guys, it takes a while to get to that level. And there's no barn door, secret keys, secret password to get to that level, to get you in and get you to that level overnight. It just don't happen. And it's not because of us old heads. It's the way of the world. You got to learn it before you can do it and live it. That's right. And any industry is that way. Any industry. Fact, Jack. Yeah, I miss the night of the road and the good cafes and Flo, the waitress Flo. And we used to have a party rose at the truck stops. That's right. Back road usually. And police and cruise that a lot. Yeah, in some places, local sheriff come back here and bust stuff up, man. Break out the barbecues. Nowadays, you can't do that. You can't do that. You're weird if you do, I guess. I've tried a couple of times. It don't work. It don't work. As you know, the timber's got a slide out barbecue on it. I haven't cooked on it in a year, over a year now. Matter of fact, I took it out last time I went home. In the wintertime, I take it out and put oil and stuff in the side box there. So anyway, I'm going to bend into this a little bit long here. I'm not going to cut this second part. That first part, we got a little sentimental there. I'm sorry about that. Yeah. What is the changes? Well, The internet's a great thing. Social media that we have nowadays is a great thing. It can be a bad thing too. Yeah, a lot of drama. A lot of drama on this social media stuff now. Yeah, a lot of drama. And the last thing that I want to cover, Night of the Road. And if you watch it this long, you're going to get a jewel here. You're going to get a jewel. The Night of the Road didn't sell his information to anybody, especially to a new truck driver. He gave it freely. Nowadays with social media, man, people are charging for information. What the shit is that? Oh, you Patreon me and give me $10, I'll teach you how to put fuel in the truck. Come on, people. Super chat. What the hell is that? You hit a $2, $5 donation, man, so your name rolls to the top of the list during the live feed. Times have changed, man. Damn, times have changed. Never, ever would you even heard of that before. Now, and after years of driving and all the experience, you become a very knowledgeable person. You become an expert in some fields of this truck driving industry. Yeah, you become a teacher. Yeah, a professor. And then when you're mentoring people in a private setting, I don't see anything wrong with charging for that information. Like when you go to college, you know, you paid big bucks to go to college. Matter of fact, some colleges, even state colleges, now have a truck driving program there. Some of them. And a lot of the local community colleges have one too. Yeah, but I don't support no truck driving school. I don't do it. No, unless they talk to me and I see what they're doing. Yeah. And I don't support none of them. Matter of fact, I don't like drivers that come out of truck driving school because most of them don't learn shit. All that school's for is to get you to get a CDL. That's another change in the industry, man. You know. So anyway, charging for information the night of the road. He ain't gonna come back. No. But there's nothing wrong with setting up classes and charging for classes after you become a seasoned driver, you become an expert in certain fields, or you've done it, man. I can see that. Yeah, I can see that. Patreon. Yeah. But hey, that's the generation today. You don't see me Patreoning. You don't see me putting up no ads on my stuff. Yeah. Monetization. Change, man, change. Not saying I'm not going to do it. In my next chapter, I may. And I probably will in my next chapter. Yeah. But that's after I finish trucking, and I ain't finished yet. I can still roll with the punches. So anyway, we're going to send you right back to Shadow Wolf and George again. This is recorded, and we'll go back live right now for the next couple minutes. You have a super fine one out there. Back at you, George. Get it, George.